Welcome back. My name is Ola. We're talking about AI marketing. Of course, we're talking about how to get more sales without more traffic. Now, obviously, the goal here is not to get you to chase after less traffic. I'm just telling you, sometimes the traffic will slow down. As a matter of fact, today, as we're speaking in press time, YouTube is showing more numbers. Basically, they show more views because they're counting the first frame when somebody, and that's all cute and nice, but I don't want you to get carried away with that. Ultimately, it comes down to one thing. Of course, people need to find your content, people need to consume your content, and then you need to generate customers. It's about generating customers. My name is Ola. I'm the author of Digital Marketing Certified. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. So let's talk. I'm looking at my dashboard, right? As you know, we're on a journey to 1,826 days, and we're only 64 days in. So in the final analysis, in the grand scheme of things, is early, okay? And as a matter of fact, I'm going to refresh this page right now, right? And we're looking at just the last 3 months of this particular one asset that I'm making a case study for you. It's just one of many assets we're building, right? But I'm showing you as we're going because it actually reflects all the work we're doing. And as you can see, there's a new low here. There's a new low, just 4 clicks on about 2 days ago. I'm going to go and zoom in a little bit. I'm going under performance, right? And you can see here that the clicks, which is the blue, is showing a new low like this. It's like tanking, right? And this is a good moment for people that don't have a plan. This is when they start to panic, and that will be the wrong move, right? So our traffic dropped, but here's the kicker of all of that. Our sales did not drop. It didn't touch our sales because there's something called leading and there's something called lagging indicator. There's leading and there's lagging indicator. I want to show you this thing here, right? Let me see here. Boom. Okay, good. So you look at this graph, right? It's called the realistic content flywheel, right? Production versus visibility. And if you look at this graph, if I zoom in for you here, you can see that we're less than 6 months in. We're only 2 months, 64 days in. So it's too early, right? There's a blurry line, but eventually, if you keep it up, you will get to a point where the green line, which is the lowest in terms of output, would outpace the same blue line, which is basically your content production. With our method that we're using right now, is called the ABCAS system. We shoot out about 22 content nodes per day, right? So every one piece of content is shot out into 22 different spots, and we're distributing like that on a daily basis. So that is consistent. That we will follow a strict process like that, and it's consistent, right? So I'm sharing that with you just so you understand that the winners in this game, they're playing the long game. They're playing the long game, and the same thing you need to do, right? So like I was saying, our traffic dropped, our sales did not, right? More traffic is not always the answer. Contrary to what you might be going through out there, again, I preach traffic because you need data. Again, I'm able to show you these numbers. Let me show you again. I'm able to show you these numbers because we are producing, we are creating, right? We're putting out agents out there, right? So we're able to show you this, but in addition to that, you really need to have a process in place that continue to optimize for what we call conversion. Does that make sense? You need to optimize for conversion because, again, more traffic isn't always the answer, because traffic is ups and down, and it's ups and down. Yes, it goes up over time, but if all you're doing is paying attention, there's two things I want you to pay attention to. Pay attention to your input and your output, and there's a couple of things in between you need to continue to optimize for, right? Most visitors that come to your website, they won't buy the first time. Is that newsflash? That shouldn't be newsflash. Just think about yourself as a consumer. When you go to a website, is it every website you go to that you buy stuff from? Okay, let me ask it the better way, right? Do you always buy the first time you land on the website, or sometimes you come back, or sometimes an ad on Meta, on Facebook, on Instagram, or WhatsApp pulls you back into the game, right? So most visitors are not going to buy the first time. So you need to have a measure, you need to have a mechanism in place, you need to have part of your funnel or your sales process that will pull them back in, and we call that retargeting. Okay, you want to retarget the attention you already earned, because again, it costs you more money to to earn a brand new person, a brand new traffic, a brand new visitor to your website is brand new. You have to start nurturing that relationship from the beginning, because at the end of the day, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. People they feel like they know, like, and trust. And that's key in all of this. So I want to go here and show you what we're talking about exactly, right? So somebody visits your website. You have a visit to your website, right? Which is a good thing. We call that traffic, right? Hopefully you do have visits coming to your website. Most websites, by the way, are a ghost land. Well, I'm going to assume that you have some traffic coming to your website, right? And like I was just showing you, it's going to be ups and downs and ups and downs. Hopefully, ultimately, it's going up, right? But there's going to be there's going to be the traffic on the website is going to be down for reasons beyond your control. It could just be algorithmic changes. It could be anything that changes. Like, for example, like I said, as we're speaking right now, YouTube is changing the way they count views, right? That numbers could change. That shouldn't affect the output. That shouldn't affect your sale processes. That shouldn't affect your sales volume. And if you don't set up your business properly, if you don't set up your campaigns properly, it can affect it, right? So, and that's why I wanted to share this with you, right? So you want to retarget the attention you already earned. So you have a visitor, right? And what happens? They leave, right? On an average, for the most part, they will leave. They you know, they're not ready to buy right now, right? So they leave. So after they leave, right, what happens on most people's website, most businesses' website? That's it. You lost them forever. But you paid money to actually attract them. For a lot of time, you paid money. If you don't pay money, you pay time. That consumes time and energy to put out content, and then people visit you once, and then that's it, and then they're gone. And that's a big problem. So with the way we set up our systems, with the ABCAS system, with the attraction-based customer acquisition system, you want to remain reachable, right? You want to remain reachable. You want to remain reachable, but also you want to set up your website in a way that these people that visit you for the first time, that they remain reachable. So I'm going to put that on the screen, right? This is what you need to have embedded into your campaigns and your funnels, right? So I'm going to put that here, remain reachable, right? So back in the days, we had to count on being able to capture their contact information so we can send them emails later. But thank God for the almighty AI, right? You don't need to do that anymore. And this has been ever, you know, like for the longest. Before we had the chat GPTs, we've had data training. We have something we call pixels. We're able to retarget them with what we call pixels that you can place on your website that continue to capture their attention, so you can continue to share content, continue to share value with them, right? So in addition to remaining reachable, you want them to see relevant follow-up. Okay, I'm going to put that here. These are the things you want to have set up in your business. You want them to see relevant follow-up. There's no sales process since the beginning of mankind that you wouldn't need some kind of follow-up, because again, people at one point they said you need an average of 7 exposure before they decide to buy from you, before an average buyer decides to do business with you, right? So guess what? That's never going to change. Okay, that is never going. So you want to have relevant follow-up going out to them. And yes, we can do that easily with with email marketing, right? So you have a combination of email marketing and also retargeting marketing, and you want to have that set up so that you don't have to continue to obsessively need more traffic before you can create sales. Does that make sense? And that's key to continue to generate more and more sales, even if traffic tanks. You don't want to be at the mercy of just your traffic acquisition. You want a full system that continue to work regardless. Okay, so also email marketing helps you build the follow-up asset. What do I mean by follow-up asset here, right? Let me first of all complete the cycle. They return because you have all this measure in place, right? Now we have email. I told you we have retargeting. We have to retarget marketing, right? Retarget marketing. retargeting, right? We call it retargeting. It simply means you're able to remarket to people that have already visited you before because the pixels capture them. But you also have email marketing. Email marketing helps you build what we call the retargeting assets. Okay, basically like an audience. Okay, you need to build audience outside of people's actual contact information. The fact that they come to your website captures their information, captures IP address, captures certain information on their browser, captures their profile on Meta, on Facebook, their Facebook profile, their Instagram profile. Overall, you're able to continue to retarget these people, if that makes any sense to you, right? I know it does. Email marketing builds the follow-up asset. So we call it the follow-up asset. And some people call that, builds the follow-up assets. Okay. Follow-up assets equals to pixel. So if you ever hear anybody say pixel, it's a little piece of invisible image that basically tracks your visitors so you can continue to market to them. So when you continue to use email marketing to send people to valuable posts and content and videos on your self-hosted website, you're able to build what we call the audience. Okay, you're able to build an audience. The bigger your audience, the more information Facebook and the artificial intelligence on Facebook, it has enough data set to continue to even find more people that fits the profile of the people that have purchased from you or engaged your business in the first place. So it's a beautiful thing all around. Okay, so why sales can survive if a traffic drop is what you're looking at right now. We're able to, if you go back here, right, we can see here, I'll go back last 28 days, and you can see is quite some interesting movement on this graph here when you look at this, right? But the leading indicator, like I was talking about in the beginning, is actually the total impressions. You can see total impressions is sustained, even though clicks are kind of lower, right? So we see that. Also, we see the number of pages that is being indexed on the website is actually increasing. Okay, so the leading indicator is always your consistency, your input into the process. You have a standard operating procedure that you follow that's consistent. That way you can continue to scale up. Now, how the algorithms respond, you can't really control that. You can control that in the long run, but in the short term you can't, because there's so many other variables outside of you, right? So sometimes you might see it tank, kind of like you see like here, but it's not a big deal. You see it actually touched zero here, but it went back up. And then if I go back to performance and I even go even much longer, you can see some interesting movement over time. Okay, you can see the purple line going up, but again the blue line is still struggling, only 64 days in. And if you want to follow the journey, just simply subscribe to the channel. Okay, but I want to draw this thing real quick so you can have a full grasp of today, so you can actually walk away with something valuable today. All right, so we have attract, like as I told you before, we run an attraction based customer acquisition system, right? ABCAS, that's the name of our system. It takes you, you can literally run a 5 hour business. Okay, running this on your business. Okay, and if you want to do more than that, it's just a matter of if you want to scale or not. But this starts with attract. We're going to start with attract. Okay, and then from attract we want to capture, right? You want to capture. Back in the days we used to have to depend on capturing that means they have to manually enter their email address. We still do that, but we don't have to. Okay, so you want to capture their profile. All right, somehow, some way you want to capture their profile. What is next? You want to retarget. Okay, so you have a simple cheap ad that basically retargets them. It's part of your budget, either budget of time or money, but you're able to do this for $5 or less. About $5 a day goes a long way. But you can, it depends on how much you want to scale, of course, right? So, and then after that, you want to nurture. You want to continue to, actually nurturing is more of a continuous it's like continuous improvement, continuous development. You're always nurturing. Well, you're obviously releasing content from time to time, at least once a week, right? So you're nurturing. These people are building relationship with you, regardless, right? So, but you have to have the systems in place. What else after you're nurturing? This is how you generate sales even if traffic slow down. Okay, nurturing will automatically create conversion. I say automatically, but you know the point here is that it's a process that led down this path, right? So you're able to convert. Make sense? Yep. Convert, right? When you convert, the best kind of customer to have is to have repeat customers. You want to continue to follow up, regardless if they become a customer or not. You continue to build relationship with them. Some of these people might not even directly be your customer. They might refer other people that becomes your client. Okay, and that's it. And this is how you generate customers even when traffic slows down. So I'm showing you this. I'm trying to show you this. Sorry guys, I was doing this. Attract, capture, retarget, nurture, convert, and follow up right there. Okay, now I like to show you this so you can see that every day it's not just it's beautiful. There's it's ongoing optimization for conversions, right? So we're always doing that regardless. So but you're seeing the journey, and I want to continue to show you this. Okay, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. So if you're getting traffic, you're getting clicks, views, and leads, but you're constantly wondering why you need even more traffic just to make this next sale, I can tell you right now for sure, earlier on in our career, we made this mistake. We chased after traffic, we wasted money, we got into altercation, we got into conflict rather with people that would promise us that they have the highest converting traffic out there. But then what we learn over time is that you have to actually nurture your own traffic. You have to build a relationship with them, and that starts with making sure you set up highly targeted traffic from the very beginning, as early as possible in the funnel, in the track, right? So that's exactly what we diagnose here. We look at where attention enters your business, where prospects disappear, what happens after they leave, and where revenue is leaking. That's what we do here. So if you want us to help you diagnose the system, all you have to do is just go to digitalmarketingcertified.com and book a diagnostic session. You can also get access to the book for free from that same location, digitalmarketingcertified.com. All right, and before you spend another dollar or another month trying to get more traffic, make sure the traffic you already have has somewhere to go. Take care and God bless. Bye now.